you ever realized the thing standing between you and your goal is something you actually love? Maybe it's that nightly snack or glass of wine. Maybe it's the clothes hanging in your closet that make you feel terrible every time you put them on. Today, we're talking about the uncomfortable truth about comfort and why the things that feel so good in the moment might be the exact things keeping us stuck. This episode is for you if this rings true.
Hi, we're Jen and Aaron from Life Beyond the Scale, the podcast. We're friends and colleagues in the health and wellness field, sharing honest conversations about real life and what gets in the way of living our best life. If this is your first time, welcome.
Love this series, Me versus Me, and starting off with this comfort zone. It's it's really interesting to see how we build these habits that are just so familiar or give us this comfort. And in all reality, that little bit of comfort is just getting in my own way and probably like keeping me this close from the best version of myself.
Yet we want to hang on to those things. It's kind of like, the toddler with that, the little stuffy. It's like, no, don't take my stuffy away. This is what feels good. Even though we know deep down inside that some of the things that we really enjoy probably aren't really in our best interest, but yet we still hang on to them, kind of like, no, no, I have to give up so many things. Don't make me have to give up that too.
Exactly. And so even though comfort zones exist and they give us routine, they feel familiar, they give us pleasure, right? It could be something as simple as the closet full of clothes that no longer fit us, but we're holding on to them because we remember when they did fit us and they become this goal outfit or these goal pair of pants or whatever they might be, but at the same time they're not serving us anymore. Or it could be as simple as avoiding the gym because we're afraid that it feels awkward, and so now we're staying comfortable at home on the couch. We're staying comfortable, wearing those clothes that we don't really even like, but they fit us right now. We continue to have that evening snack and kind of forget that this comfort is keeping us in the pit. Right? When we talked about the pit before, where we don't like it in the pit, we are unsatisfied with our weight, our health, our the way our clothes fit, the way that we're out of breath bringing in groceries, but at the same time, it's easy. And so oftentimes comfortable feels so easy that like we know the way there. So it's kind of like I'm just going to happily jump in with my blanket and turn on Netflix and get my snack out. And in the moment, I'm enjoying it, and I almost like being in the pit because it's easy and familiar. But the reality is, it's just keeping us from being the best version of ourselves.
It sure does. So every comfort has a trade-off. So thinking about that snack, that evening snack, it may be something that it might not even be that it's such a bad choice, but maybe it's just not the right choice for you anymore. And I think about like for women of a certain age, menopause, some of the things that we could eat in the past maybe aren't working as well for us. One of the things that I think of when the Weight Watcher app added the new menopause program, one of the things that I saw on that food list was they took oats and potatoes away. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that plan. I like oats and potatoes. But maybe if I'm truthful, at this stage of my life, maybe I have less of oats and potatoes because my body doesn't process them as well anymore, even though I really enjoy them.
Right. Well, and I have a farmer client who says the only thing that eats oats are the animals on her farm that they're trying to fatten up. So it kind of starts to make me wonder, are oats in my best interest? Yes. And so it's like that comfort zone is getting in our way. So let me give you just, remind our listeners of the psychology of the habit loop, right? That our brain loves patterns, that neuroplasticity, those routines, those well ingrained pathways in our brain. And it starts with some type of trigger, and then we do the behavior, and then we get a reward. And around it goes. And 2 or 3, 4 times in, the brain's like, oh, yeah, I've got this, even if it's not helpful. Right. And so whatever the brain thinks, so the body follows. And so if all of a sudden I'm skipping the workouts, I'm drinking the nightly wine, I'm having that popcorn every night, whatever that might be, I'm wearing the stretchy pants that are giving me no sense of how my wasted jeans are going to fit me later, whatever that is, you have to think of what the trade-off is. And so is the reward in the moment comfortable? I feel relaxed. I can look forward to that nightly snack. All of that starts to feel like a reward, and it's strengthening the habit loop. But the trade-off is give it a few minutes, and all of a sudden I'm bloated. The weight is stalling. I'm frustrated with myself. I start a negative self-talk cycle. And now again, that becomes another well-worn pathway in the brain that really we have to ask, like, is that trade-off worth it? Now that we understand the psychology of what's going on in our brain, I think sometimes to actually enjoy. And this is where that me versus me comes in. It's me. I love it. I love that relaxation. I love that these stretchy pants are so comfy, and my clothes are in the closet waiting for the someday I'll wear them. And until then, I'll sleep in and wear all my oversized clothes. Like I love that part because it's easy and it's comfortable and it's familiar. Erin, let me ask you, why do you think we continually go back to these habits that really aren't serving us?
We go back to these habits as a reward or because they fulfill the need to relax, decompress, or transition from day to night.
I think about the person who gets a health diagnosis and the doctor says, you got to quit smoking. You got to change your diet. These are hard things to do. If it's been something you've been doing over a lifetime, it's a hard thing to do, even when you do get such a serious talking to.
Well, and maybe I don't know, a few things are popping in my head. I think we can control it, right? Like we're back to that toddler that I can spit out the food back at you, mom, if I don't like it, or throw it off the high chair. I can't control what's going on in the world, but I can control what's in my mouth. And then the other side of that coin is I get the health diagnosis. I know that nothing in my closet fits. I know that if I eat too late at night, I'm up all night with indigestion. But there's that little voice that's like, maybe not tonight, though, or maybe I have time, or
Yeah.
I bet I could start tomorrow. And all
think
of that self-talk.
I think your example of the toddler, I have had that mental toddler moment of like somebody says, well, maybe you should stop doing that. And I'm like, don't you tell me what to do. I will.
Stomping our feet and, screaming.
So the thing makes you happy,
Yeah.
but does it make you happy to what you really want, the big picture? I think in the small moment of like, oh, okay, I'm going to feel good. I'm going to get the dopamine hit. It's going to feel good.
Right.
But we kind of know when we're making choices that they're not ideal. We know we really shouldn't have that next glass of wine, that we're really going to feel bad tomorrow, or that, oh, I better clean that plate even though I'm really, really full and I'm going to feel really gross tonight, but we do it anyway.
And we feel
The hard
like
one.
yeah, and we might, especially those that maybe in midlife already feel like we've given up so much, right? Like we've given up our youth. We don't even know what body this is anymore. We don't even feel like ourselves. Maybe we are restricting, carbs or workouts, or trying to like, oh, I got to eat this protein and I've got to do the fiber and I've got to wear a weighted vest and on, all these things that just feel overwhelming, that maybe in that moment it does just like, I need it easy and I want to not have to give up one more thing like my nightly snack. Like, please don't take away one more piece of my joy. And so
Yes.
really, right? Like I have given up enough. Like, I wanted to sit on the couch. I don't want to go for a stinking walk, right? Like, whatever that might be. And so, honestly, the real question isn't in the moment. Don't ask yourself, do I enjoy this? Because if we go back to that psychology of like, I've had a long day is my trigger, and my behavior is the nightly snack, and the reward is I like the snack. Like that's going to strengthen it. So don't ask yourself if you enjoy it, because odds are we do, right? And the hardest habit to change is the one that we like the best. But the
Yeah.
real question we have to ask ourselves is this behavior or those clothes taunting me in the closet or that bigger portion or second serving, is that helping me to become the best, healthiest version of me?
No, it's not.
That's
But
the
it doesn't,
question.
it's not, but it doesn't always stop me enough to make the right choice.
That's your ding, ding, ding moment. I think if we are really honest with ourselves in the moment, I don't care. I have time. I like this. Leave me alone. But when we can connect right? Like, I mean, honestly, that's what's happening. But if you connect the dots and you can say, when I talk to myself negatively, it starts to, impact the rest of my day. I start to be crabby towards my family. Or when I eat within an hour of going to bed, I'm choosing to stay awake all night with indigestion and heartburn. When I continually have extra servings, I'm choosing to allow the scale to go up. That almost puts a different spin on it.
Now that we've identified the nightly ritual and how the habit loop works, here are a few alternatives to the wine and snack habit before we move on to the closet comfort zone.
Let's say, for instance, the clothes aren't fitting and you know that maybe that snack isn't serving you. It's time to buy a new pair of pants. And I know so many people say, I'll wait till I get to that size. And they're forcing themselves to wear clothes that are too tight, itchy, constantly adjusting, never feeling comfortable within them.
We're punishing ourselves.
To feel comfortable in your clothes and I think feeling comfortable in your clothes is going to make the decision of maybe not having that nighttime snack or glass of wine a little bit easier, because you're moving closer toward your reward of feeling better within your own body.
Because if I think I look good or I feel comfortable, I'm probably going to behave in a way that's treating myself kinder. So in so many ways, we're pretending that it's comfort, but really it's punishment. It's really keeping the best version of us at bay, which is another reason why we decided to do this me versus me. Like, how are all the different ways that I'm sabotaging myself? So we have to break out of these comfort zones, and it doesn't have to be huge. As you mentioned, it could just be one nice outfit or one shirt that just fits me a little bit more comfortably, or a nicer pair of pants. Or could I skip the nighttime snack 2 times this week? I'm not saying give it up, but let's just check in with ourselves to figure out if I'm even hungry right now, or if this is just this habit that I've kind of created and I've told myself it's my reward for surviving the long day.
Yeah. I like the idea of cutting back twice a week because I think that's actually doable. I think I'll replace it those 2 nights a week. So then you can start to be like, all right, I'm going to start to build a new pathway with
Yeah, right. And
doing
if
it twice
you,
a week.
okay, so again, I'm going to encourage it not to be food, but I want us to go back to like, what am I actually getting out of that nightly
Yeah.
wine, that snack, that extra, sitting on the couch, whatever that might be. If it is relaxation, then ask yourself, like, what else brings you relaxation? Like, how else do you relax? Because those 2 nights a week that you could look forward to something besides the nighttime snack or wine or fill in the blank, maybe is you setting aside an hour to read that book that you've been putting off, or to, to take a long bubble bath, right? To do something for you that's also relaxing instead of connecting the dots and building that neuroplasticity in the brain to be like, the only way I feel relaxed, the only way I can get that fast dopamine hit is the of a can or the pour of a wine or the popping of the popcorn or whatever that might be. There's something else that we also enjoy. Listening to music, maybe sitting out on the porch and looking up at the stars. Those are also relaxing, but we have to break up with that comfort zone and really test it as an experiment to say, is it really all that it is that we've made it up to be? Or in our minds, have I decided, right? Do I like the thought of it more than I like the actual thing that I'm choosing? I don't know if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, that makes complete sense because we do things by default, by habit.
I'll give you an example for me that took me a really long time to get rid of. So, some of you maybe know, maybe I've shared this on a podcast, I'm not even sure. I don't like my legs. After my after my fourth pregnancy, I guess, my third son was being born. Right before Camden was born, my legs broke out in varicose veins. And since then, I don't wear shorts. So he just turned 20. So that's really sad. It's been roughly 20 years since I have comfortably worn shorts. Now, maybe once in a while over my swimsuit, sitting out on the deck, something like that. But I don't exactly remember the year or how long ago it was, but my husband and I went out and I had this cute pair of like a dressy short kind of thing that I wore with heels and a nice top. I think it was his class reunion. So I mean, we're going way back to a high school reunion. And I got a lot of compliments about how these shorts made my legs look extra long, and probably because of the heel, maybe they were shapely. I don't know. I had just reached my goal weight. I was feeling very confident. Those stupid shorts have hung in my closet now for 20 years because when I look at them, my brain is going back to the compliments. It's going back to that night of feeling kind of sexy, I guess. Um, but in reality, they're just taunting me of a previous life. Now, I know, me versus me, get over it, wear the shorts. I totally, in my head, understand that. But the reality is, my goal weight now is not what it was all those kids ago. And so, probably, even if I liked my legs, they wouldn't fit. And they're probably not even in style. They're probably a little too short, if I remember right. But it's this idea that's in the closet. But the reality is, every time I like run across them in the closet, there's an instance of, ooh, I remember that good time. But the overpowering thought is, you'll never look that good again. And so they're not serving, right? And I don't want that to sound like, suck it up, Jen, do whatever. But I think it's a reality check of saying, it's okay to get rid of those shorts. I can remember that time without owning those shorts and having them taught me in the closet. And so it's
You're not the only one. I have a pair of shorts in my closet. Just
mine probably wouldn't even close if I'm honest. They might not even get over my thighs. I have no idea. But why?
Yeah.
Why are we holding on to that memory? And so it's like the I have a dream. Well, it's not a helpful dream. So boot it, get it out of the closet. It's not serving me. I would be much better off to buy myself if I want to start wearing shorts again and embrace the veins and all the things, then I need to go shopping this spring or summer for a new pair of shorts that make me feel comfortable enough to wear them. Not trying to be who I was at a high school class reunion 100 years ago. What is one small comfort that you're able to tweak this week? It doesn't have to be a huge change, but what's one little thing that you're willing to let go of this week? We'd love to hear it in the comments. Those shorts will go into the Goodwill bag for me. Anything that you think that you could change up this week, Erin?
I too am going to go grab those shorts out of my closet and they're going to go in the Goodwill bag. I did look good in them. So I have pictures of myself in it. That should be enough. And that's okay.
I think I do too. I think I do too. And that is okay. So get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. It's going to not feel right to skip the nightly snack. It's not going to feel right to sit down with a book or to toss a pair of shorts in the giveaway pile. But it's okay. Just because it doesn't feel right doesn't mean it's not helpful or that it's wrong.
Going to leave you with a closing thought. But first, don't forget, give us a comment, a like, a share, whatever you can do for us, but folks, we appreciate it. Comfort is wonderful until it starts keeping you from becoming who you want to be. Sometimes the next version of us is waiting on the other side of one small, uncomfortable decision. Next up, Jen's Coaching Corner.
If you're waiting to feel confident before you put on the swimsuit this summer, you might be waiting a while. Confidence isn't something that you're born with. It's something that you build every time you show up. Everyone wants confidence, but here's what nobody tells you about it. Confidence isn't walking into a room loud. It's not something that you're born with, and it definitely doesn't mean that you're always going to succeed. Confidence is a skill, and it grows every time you show up instead of shrinking back. Not because it was easy or because you did it perfectly, but because you proved to yourself that you can handle hard things. Confidence is a willingness to try. It's putting on the swimsuit, even if your body isn't what it used to be. It's signing up for that gym class, even if you've never lifted weights before. And it's asking for what you deserve, even if the answer might be no. Because you don't gain confidence by telling yourself you're amazing. You gain confidence when you prove to yourself that you're capable. And that's going to start with action. So if you want to head into summer feeling more confident in your body, your health, and in your life, this is exactly why we created the 6-week confidence bundle. It's 6 weeks of showing up for yourself, of practicing confidence through small, doable wins, creating simple, healthy habits that will fit your life, accountability and support so you know that you're not doing this all alone, and mindset work so you stop getting into your own way. And don't forget, we want to build some momentum. So make sure you comment confidence below or send me a DM and I'll send you all the details. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Confidence begins with the willingness to try.